scholars are coming in from around the country to question me on the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, from the making of the devil to the concept of God, to food, to the role of women, to the tragedy of the Malcolm era. What happened with Imam Ward-Din Muhammad, all the way to the modern times and the critics and what they have to say. The program of Elijah Muhammad, his position, and where we see ourselves going in the future. There will be scholars, great eminent scholars coming of religion, people that have watched the nation for years, and we're going to put this on tape because we know the press will never tell our story. The television will never show our truth. This is something we have to do ourselves, and if we have to pay for it, we will show it to the world hour after hour after we raise the money to put it before the world. Isn't it beautiful that Christians and Muslims and Hebrew Israelites can stand together, laugh together, eat together, work together, fight together for the glory of God? Their brother don't stay home. But see, my home is wherever black people are. You understand? And that's my home. So don't look for me to be all up here with you and you are all here with me. That's our minister. God didn't send me just to you. See, I belong to our people. Therefore, wherever our people are, if the mountain won't come to Muhammad, what must Muhammad do? Go to the mountain, brother.
There comes a point in every powerful message where your mind hears it, but your spirit feels it. That's the kind of message you're about to listen to now. As Africans, the journey we've been walking through, from struggle to reflection and to awakening, is leading us into the part where everything starts connecting. Because once you understand the purpose behind your pain and recognize the lessons hidden in your hardships, the next step is learning how to live with that wisdom, how to walk with it, and how to stand on it. Sit back as Farrakhan's speech goes deeper into discipline, faith, responsibility, and into the kind of inner strength that no one can take from you. So take a breath, lean in, and let the message unfold.
Now, I say that to say that what Elijah Muhammad taught, I mean, it is the truth. This coming Friday, God willing, I want to go into the making of a devil. And right after that, I'm going to teach it on the radio. I hope that we will have sufficient time to show you why Elijah Muhammad used the language to white people that they are devils. We don't want you to just go out calling names. That's ugly and it's childlike. But if God used that language, why did he use it? What message was he trying to say? Can white people escape that which he called them? We got to put it out there. There's a lot that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught that most of the people of the world have never heard nor reasoned with, if you did hear it. Now, beloved, putting it in a modern context, this man stood in our midst for 40 years and there was much that he could have told us. We just were not ready. What about his domestic life? What about the things that Malcolm charged him with? Is there truth to it? If so, how should we look at it? The world has to know these things. You know why? We have got to put to rest the fighting among ourselves. We have to put it to rest. There are people in this audience who adore Malcolm and think well of Elijah Muhammad. And there are people in this audience who adore Elijah Muhammad, think well of Malcolm, and there's some who adore Malcolm and don't think anything of Elijah Muhammad. There are some who adore Elijah Muhammad, don't think anything of Malcolm X. How long should this controversy rage on? Must another generation of children come up wearing the scars of something that happened before they were born? Why not analyze it critically, appraise it, and let it be in the path that the children may go on? I was in Washington, D.C. a few weeks ago, and a tall, stately child, looked like a woman to me, came up to me as I was standing there and said, "Assalamu alaikum." I said, "Wa alaikum salam." She said, "Attila Shabazz here," and turned and walked away. I didn't recognize it was Malcolm's daughter. I said, "Attila," because when she was a baby, she was at my knee. And when my oldest daughter was a baby, she was at Malcolm's knee. And Malcolm taught my oldest daughter her ABCs and taught her student enrollment. And I did a similar thing, not quite as much as Malcolm, with Attila. And there was the daughter of Malcolm within my reach. I wanted to grab her and embrace, not grab her, you know what I mean. I wanted to embrace her. When I called, she put her finger up as if to say, "I've gone far enough." In words, there's still something between us. I said in my heart, you know, my children should be with Malcolm's children. Malcolm's children and Martin's children and my children and Jesse's children and Imam Wardeen's children and Herbert's children and all of the children should be together. The children represent something new, and they should not be saddled down with old hatreds. Therefore, if understanding and light is shed on the whole situation and it is opened and aired and analyzed, then maybe we can put it behind us and get on with the business of building a people. We must break down these barriers. Don't you think we should? Yes, sir. I do. Beloved, Elijah Muhammad was a greatly misunderstood man. He is gone from us, and I feel it's my duty and my obligation to help others to understand him. Someone wrote, Farrakhan is carrying a lot of baggage, meaning carrying the baggage of what the people have said about Elijah Muhammad. That's very easy for me to carry, for he carried us. And we were heavy weights on him, but he didn't mind that. So I don't mind carrying his teaching and his message. And whatever the critics say about him, I will carry that. But I do think now we need to understand and get it behind us so we can go on with the work of building a great people. So, I say, in conclusion, that the food that God has sent down is a food that will rest our hearts from the pain of division. Isn't it beautiful that Christians and Muslims and Hebrew Israelites can stand together, laugh together, eat together, work together, fight together for the glory of God? Isn't it wonderful that Hebrew Israelites and Muslims and Christians can sit down together at a common table? We have differences of view, but we handle it with such love and respect. The love is so overpowering, it makes our differences sink almost into nothingness. Now look, brothers and sisters, if those white Christians and Jews and Muslims can get along, we have to show them how it's done. We must not allow the old Jews, all Christians, all Muslims to put their hatreds on us. We are trying to bring in a new world.
You can't grow if you keep running from the truth that's meant to set you free. As Minister Louise Farrakhan spoke, he started touching on the kind of honesty that makes people uncomfortable. The honesty that confronts your habits, your intentions, and the choices you've outgrown. That's part of our journey too. As a people, we've had to learn that real elevation doesn't come from wishing for better days. It comes from taking ownership of the days we have, from deciding who we want to be and moving with purpose, even when no one else sees the vision. As we delve deeper into Farrakhan's power speech, he speaks directly to that kind of accountability. The accountability that transforms you from the inside out.
So when you sit down together, the Muslim sister, the Hebrew Israelite, your dress is a little different, but yet long and respectful. You look at each other, you admire each other's styles. Pretty soon you'll say, I like that. You know how women are. I like that. Pretty soon you make a dress like that. She may look at something that the Muslim sister has on and say, I like that. Before you know it, you won't be able to tell one community from another, brother and sister. Look at our Christian sisters and our Christian brothers. Here we are together. Nobody looking down at the other. We're looking at each other to learn from one another. You have much to teach us. We have much to share with you. And together, look how we learn. And before you know it, the Muslim, like I watched the Muslims when we were at T.L. Barrett's church. I peeped y'all. I know y'all peeped me too. Did you see me sitting there patting my feet? You see, we don't have music in the temple. You know, and I love music. So when I go to church, I just can't help myself. When they start to laying in there with that heavy music, I go to patting my foot, and I have been very, austere. But now, brother, just break loose, Go ahead. And I feel at home in the church. I'm getting something there that I don't get here. Yes, sir. Go ahead. And when they come here, they get something here that they don't get there. Sisters start wrapping their heads. Other sisters said, what is that you got on? Why you do that? I like the way that looks. Before you know it, she wrapped her head. Where did you get your hair done? It looks so pretty. Oh, I got it done over here. Oh, give me her name. Before you know it, you're all meeting in the same places. When you see each other, you rush into each other's arms. You embrace each other. You don't seem like you're strangers. You are a family. And this is what's driving the white man crazy. He don't want to see us recognizing each other as a family. It's over. It's a new day. As Muslims, like the early Jews, we were kind of stuck on ourselves. Come on now. Yes, we have the truth. We are the righteous, you know. Look at that sister with that mini dress. Isn't she disgusting? Forgot how we used to put on the mini dress. I mean, not me. We acted kind of childlike. We had something very good, but we didn't sort of share it. You know? We had a nice school. The discipline was wonderful. The curriculum was wonderful, but we didn't let others share it. This is not a criticism. We had to get our own thing together. But now, we can't do that anymore. I saw a table come down from heaven. And it had all kind of meat on it. And I was told to eat. Not that I personally was told. I'm giving you a picture of the scripture coming to life. Why we can't eat this? Why? These people, they eat pork. Why? That man was just snorting cocaine. I saw him, yes. I saw that sister with a beer bottle in her hand. I can't hang out with her. I mean, after all. See? But when the nation broke up, Allah helped us to see that we were no better than the people we condemned. So we went back and got the cocaine, didn't some of us? We went back and got the wine bottle and something else. So we don't have that old self-righteous posture anymore. I saw the table come down from heaven, and what God is saying, what I have cleansed, you have no right to turn it down. This is your family. Go out and embrace one another. So now the Muslims and Brother Farrakhan, I don't stay here. I come here every once in a while. The Muslims see me. I know you a little disappointed. Their brother don't stay home. But see, my home is wherever black people are. You understand? And that's my home. So don't look for me to be all up here with you. And you are all here with me. That's our minister. God didn't send me just to you. See, I belong to our people. Therefore, wherever our people are, if the mountain won't come to Muhammad, what must Muhammad do? Go to the mountain, brother. Okay. Now, 2 parables and we go. All right. I ain't been home in so long I can't help myself. Come on. 2 parables. Moses in the Quran in the 18th chapter was traveling in search of knowledge. You remember the parable? Moses was kind of trifling, according to the parable. The wise man told him, look, Moses, you can't, in words, hang out with me. Moses said, oh yeah, I can hang tough. This is a modern translation, of course. And Moses said, okay, man, walk with me. I'm almost willing to wager that you can't walk with me. So when they were walking, they came to a river, and a man had a boat. And the man was kind enough to take them across the river in his boat. When they got to the other side, the wise man put a hole in the boat, sunk the man's boat after the man let him use the boat to get across. Moses jumped in the man's face and said, this is a terrible thing that you have done. The man says, I told you, you wouldn't have patience with me. Oh, he said, yeah. but that isn't too cool what you did. So they walked on a little further. This is really pardon translation. But I want you to get the principles, okay? Here's a woman and a husband, a man and a woman, they had a baby. And he meets the man, he meets the woman, he sees the baby. He causes the baby to die. The poor man and woman is grieving over the loss of the baby. Moses and the wise man keep walking. Moses jumped dead off in the wise man says, now this is terrible. This is a grievous thing. You killed a woman's baby. He says, I told you that you could not have patience with me. Now if you do this one more time, we'll have to part company. They went and they were very, very hungry. And they went to a place and they asked the person, I guess, did you have any food? And the man wouldn't feed them. Wouldn't feed them. They went outside and there was a wall torn down. And in the wall there was a treasure. The wise man built the wall back up, hiding the treasure in the wall. Both of them hungry now. So Moses said, look, look, we hungry. The man got a broke down wall. Why didn't you tell the man, lay some food on us and we'll fix the wall? And then you see the treasure and you didn't even take the treasure. You know what I mean? You build the wall back up. No, it sounds like us, don't it? Well, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, that's not a parable of Moses following the wise man, but that's a picture of a people who are given a messenger. And they don't have patience to wait for understanding of the things that the messenger is guided to do. And when God does a thing, he does it out of the comprehensiveness of his own knowledge. He has a consummate knowledge of the past, the present, and the future, and he makes a move today for tomorrow. You don't know tomorrow, hardly see today, not acquainted with yesterday. So you make a quick judgment and say, God, you're wrong, because you don't understand. You follow my point? All right, now tie that in with this verse of scripture, and we go.
You know, our elders always said, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And that wisdom still stands, because in life, there will always be forces trying to pull you off your path, distract your mind, or weaken your spirit. At this moment, Farrakhan reminds us that staying grounded is not accidental. It's intentional. You must choose what you believe, choose what you follow, choose what you feed your mind and your soul. And when you make that choice with clarity, everything around you starts shifting. Opportunities open. Toxic people fall away and peace becomes easier to protect. What he's about to say drives that message home.
O you who believe, should any one of you turn back from his religion, then Allah will bring a people whom he loves and who love him. Humble towards believers, mighty against the disbelievers, striving hard in Allah's way, and not fearing the censure of any censurer. This is Allah's grace. He gives it to whom he pleases, and Allah is ample giving and knowing. Now we end. Don't you see, beloved, in your life and in mine, there are things that happen that you don't understand. And those things that happen in your personal life or in our national life that we don't understand, we do have a tendency to make a judgment. And sometimes we make such a harsh judgment, we turn away from a friend, we turn away from our mothers, we turn away from our fathers or our husbands or our wives because of something that came up that we don't understand. While if we could have just held on a little longer and had a little more patience, understanding might have come to show us the wisdom of God in what was done. Now, you see the picture? The wise man said to Moses, we must part company. And now I will explain to you why I did what I did. When the man took me across and you across in the boat, he was such a good man. And I knew that a wicked king was coming behind, confiscating the boats of the people. So I put a hole in the man's boat that the wicked king would not see it because it would be sunk. And when the wicked king would have passed over, that man could retrieve his boat, plug up the hole, and sail on. Would that you had patience with me. When I met this righteous couple who had a child, I saw that if the child were allowed to live, that child would grieve his righteous parents. So I took the life of that child in its youth. Yes, the parents were troubled, but they would have been more troubled had that child grown up to bring grief on the parents. But I also gave that parent, those parents, a righteous child that will make the parents happy. So the happiness and the joy of a righteous child will make them forget the loss of the child that they had. And now, when I got to that house and I saw the wall there with the treasure in the wall, you were thinking about your stomach. But I saw in the future 2 orphan boys that money was meant for. And I knew that if these in that house who were so niggardly had seen that treasure, they would have usurped it. So I built a wall around the treasure, knowing that at the proper time and under the right circumstances, those 2 orphan boys would find that wall and find that treasure. This is why you cannot have patience with me, because you see only today. You see only your need. You do not see what God sees. And so you must trust in God in order for God to guide you when you don't understand what He is doing. Now, the meaning of that. Look at the Nation of Islam. How we love the nation. Look at what Elijah Muhammad built up for black people. It was like a ship, an old ship of Zion that we were in. The ship never did get lost. A hole was put in it. And when a king would come that would not be righteous, confiscating the boats, I allowed this one to sink, because when the wicked king would have done his job, all we would have to do is bring it up from the bottom, put a hole, plug the hole back up, clean it up, and there would be your Nation of Islam, never having gone any place. But you couldn't have patience with me. And there was a righteous parent, 2 of them, and they had a child. And that child was called the Old Nation of Islam. That child had become corrupt. And I knew that if the child had lived, it would have grieved its righteous parents, Master Farad Muhammad and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So I allowed that child to die, knowing that I'm going to bring up a new child, a new nation that would give joy to those parents. And lastly, but not least, I know in order for that nation to survive, it's going to need money. And so I buried the treasure for that nation in a wall, and there were 2 little orphan boys deprived of both their mother and their father, knowing they have a nation on their shoulders. But I have prepared a treasure for them in advance. But I hid it, and at the proper time, under the right circumstances, they'll go to the right wall. And there will be the money needed to go on and build the nation. You see, you couldn't have patience with me. And because you did not have patience, we must part company. And many of us parted company with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and his teachings. So the Quran says, O you who believe, should any one of you turn back from his religion, then Allah will bring a people whom he loves. When I hear Jesse Jackson, I hear a man who loves God. When I hear Pastor T.L. Barrett or Reverend Hardy or Reverend Franklin, I hear a man who loves God. So when you are consumed with the love of God, God loves you. Now look at what is to happen with that. Then you become humble toward believers. I have never seen in Asiel Ben Israel the power of his ability to wage war. He has never seen that power in me. Because when we meet each other, we're too busy kissing, hugging. I don't mean it in no. No, I don't mean it in that way.
Growth also requires courage. Courage to walk away from familiar pain. Courage to unlearn what kept you stuck. Courage to step into a version of yourself you've never seen before. As we continue, he speaks of the kind of courage that comes from faith. The courage that rises when you trust that you are being guided, even when life doesn't make sense. That's something our community has always leaned on. Faith carried us through storms we weren't supposed to survive. And now he's taking that same timeless strength and putting it into words that hit the heart. Listen closely. This is where the message starts to lift you.
When we embrace each other with love, we are humble toward each other because it is not necessary for us to show forth power with one another. When I meet you, I feel honest and truth, just like a little worm. I feel so small. I don't feel like no big shot because I'm in the presence of believing people. When you saw me on Nightline, you saw a different kind of man. That's a different kind of man. You saw a man ready to go to war then. Well, I don't have to show you that because you're a believer in God. I'm facing the enemies of God now. Then you see coming out of a lamb, a lion. Why? Because I'm humble to the believer. That's right. But I will be mighty God, and God loves me. And so the scripture says of us, we strive hard in God's way. And look now, and we don't fear the censure of any censurer. And it's true. I listen and I look at the things that they say about me, and I laugh. I tell you the truth, the best laughs that I have had in the last 7 years is reading the cartoons that white folk have put in the paper with respect to Reverend Jackson and myself. They had a cartoon of me. I was like a bulldog in this cartoon. And I had my mouth open and it was red and livid and saliva was coming down from my teeth, you know. And I had a little bow tie on, you know. And Jesse had the bulldog boy and he was trying to hold the dog, but the dog The dog was about to eat up the press. The press was sitting in a chair, shaking. When I read that, I just laughed. They had another cartoon of Reverend Jackson and myself. We were hugging each other up, you know. He had his arm around me and I had my arm around him. And he was holding up a trophy. You know, it was around the time of the Oscars. He was the #1 actor, you know what I mean? Performer. And I was holding mine up for the best supporting actor. Then they had another one. Yeah, they had a little sign on top of my trophy saying, "Vote for Jesse or else." And they had another one. Farrakhan looks bigger than life. I mean, a man with huge shoulders. Big bow tie stretched across. And a white man is coming out of the polling booth. And my hand is behind my back, you know. But I look huge and I say to him, "Oh, and by the way, who did you vote for?" Man says, "Did you happen to vote for Jesse?" Nah. I voted for Mondale. And the next thing you see me with a scimitar, and I had just lopped off this man's head. You see his head tumbling off. Farrakhan killed him because he didn't vote for Jesse. Then they had another one. Brother Farrakhan, he looking huge again, you know what I mean? Well, this is the way they see a man of truth. They see me looking huge. All the men around me looking huge, you know? And they have a sign on here saying, "Ayatollah Farrakhan. Vote for Jesse or else." Now what they're saying, see, they don't realize what they're saying. The wise do. Ayatollah Farrakhan, the word Ayatollah means, ayat means a sign. Ayatollah means a sign of Allah. This man here is standing behind the rostrum, they're saying, is a sign of God. Be careful. You'll lose your head over him. See, the wise see it different, but the funniest one of all, they have me in this paper. I have a big sign on here saying, "Hi, I'm Louise Farrakhan." And then they have my mouth opened up, look like a cannon, you know, long out here like this. This is my mouth. And smoke is coming out of my mouth, meaning I had just blew somebody away, you know. And Jesse with his hand behind, one hand behind his back and his other hand in the pocket like this, and said, "And we'll go on now to the next question." Now, beloved, I've really laughed heartily. But I want to say as I leave you that God has fixed it so for us that we are not afraid of their disapproval of us as long as we know that we are right. And because we are not afraid of their disapproval anymore, they become afraid of ours. You are a new generation. You represent a new day, a new world order. So lift up your heads and gird up your loins, for a food is coming down from heaven that will ease our hearts and make us to know that what we learn from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, it is the truth. Remember, after difficulty comes ease. And when you go through your trials and you go through your tribulations, don't curse God no matter how difficult it is. Say, I am from you. You are my patron. And whatever misfortune happens to be my lot in life, I will take the bitter with the sweet. I will take the joy with the sorrow. I will take the pain with the pleasure, knowing that it is you who are fashioning me. And I must come to you by the same way that you came to yourself. God bless you and keep you. Thank you for listening. Assalamu alaikum.
If you listen to this powerful message closely, the struggle, the reflection, the awakening, the courage, you start to see a bigger picture. You realize that life is not working against you. It's shaping you, aligning you, and preparing you for chapters you haven't stepped into yet. Every hardship and every moment that tries to break you, all of it carries meaning when viewed through the right lens. That's the legacy of our people, and it's the truth of your own journey too. If this message spoke to your soul, make sure you stay connected. There's always more wisdom, more truth, and more perspective coming your way. Now, carry the message forward by subscribing to this channel and like this video.